Hello and welcome to today's episode of Comms Business Live. I'm Charlotte, editor of Comms Business, and I'm delighted to be joined by Lee Underwood, channel manager for the UK and Ireland at Snom. Welcome to the show, Lee.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for joining us. And today we're going to dive into desk phones, VoIP and unified comms in collaboration. And the way businesses operate has been changed dramatically by the events of the past few years. And there's a growing interest in IP telephony as a communications tool for modern business. Desk phones can be the perfect gateway for many users to unlock all of the capabilities and features on offer. And Lee, how have desk phones evolved in recent years? And is there anything new on offer that some people might not have spotted?
Yeah, so desk phones evolved massively, and they've had to really, with everything, all the events of the last few years. People want to work from home, so they can use Wi-Fi enabled devices, so they don't have to run cables all over the house. They are capable of integrating with smart offices and smart homes now, so you can do things like control your heating, control your lights, integrate into the air conditioning system. Some of the handsets have a light sensor built in, so when you leave the office, it knows you've turned the lights off, and the phone can then talk to everything else in the building and make sure everything's been shut down and turned off and armed or whatever. So yeah, they have evolved massively, and they've just had to.
Yeah, definitely. Because even within the office environment, with things like hot desking, I guess that's in some ways asking for these desk phones to be doing more in terms of making sure anyone can kind of simply log in and get what they need at any desk.
Absolutely, yeah. And with offices getting smaller and smaller and less people going into them, people are taking smaller spaces and sharing desks. So hot desking is really important. Some new handsets that we've just launched, they're also manufactured from antibacterial plastics. So if people are sharing, there's less chance of passing anything on if they're using the same phone that somebody else has. So yeah, antimicrobial is really important nowadays. So yeah, hot desking is becoming more and more common with the downsizing of offices. And
definitely.
Handsets have had to evolve to make that an easy. Even a lot of handsets can just do it with a one touch.
Yeah, exactly. And like you mentioned with those plastics, not everyone's going to remember to wipe down their equipment at the end of the day.
Absolutely.
So anything we can do to simplify things is always good.
Yeah.
And where does VoIP fit in with that transition that you've just talked through?
So VoIP obviously has become more and more important over the last few years with the pandemic and everything else that's gone on. People are having to work from home or want to work from home more. And so if something goes wrong within the environment, you want to be able to log on to a cloud server rather than actually physically go to a piece of equipment and be able to change where the phones are ringing or what happens when somebody calls the office. So the VoIP revolution, as it were called quite a few years ago, has just accelerated massively. And the desk phone is very important in a lot of environments. There's a lot of environments and debts. So there's a lot of environments where people can't work from home. So you've got your healthcare, you've got your manufacturing, you've got your warehousing. They can't work from home, so they need to carry on having phones in their premises. And for those that can't, obviously everybody's evolving their work from anywhere products, like yourself wearing a headset like myself, using a conference speaker. So they're becoming more and more important as well. But yeah, there's a lot of environments out there where you can't just get rid of your phones. It's impossible.
Yeah, absolutely. And bringing kind of the new features and capabilities to those users that still have a desk phone instead of it just being limited to people using kind of more flexible types of technology, I guess, is always a good thing.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Definitely. And we did touch on the pandemic there and how that's changed how many of us work. What does that mean for kind of desk phones and what they can offer outside of a kind of traditional office environment?
As I said before, they're capable of doing so much more now. So Wi-Fi enabled desk phones are becoming more and more important. The fact that you're working from home, you don't want to have to pay somebody to run cables all through your house, probably redecorate just to get a cable to you to be able to plug a phone in. So Wi-Fi enabled, put it on the desk. connects up to your Wi-Fi router and you're off. That's exactly what I do at home, and I think that's what more and more people are doing. And obviously DECT technology is quite important. So again, no cable needed. You put a little DECT hotspot next to your router, and then you can use the phone anywhere in the house. So that sort of thing is really important. And as I said before, the next evolution is going to be smart home integration and being able to control everything else from your phone. The other advantage with VoIP is if you want to leave the home office and you have to go out to see somebody, you can just hit one single button on your phone and it'll divert everything to your mobile or to your office or whatever. So people can carry on taking calls for you, or you can take your own calls. So I think that's really, really important to remember, that even if you are still using a desk phone, that can be integrated into a mobile app or anything, and you can activate that by one touch on your handset.
Definitely. So it's kind of about giving users flexibility, but also making it as simple as possible.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. As simple as possible.
Lovely. And for resellers and distributors who are looking for a VoIP manufacturer to work with them, what should they bear in mind?
So there's a few important things, really. Security aspects is one important thing. There's a lot in the press lately about security breaches. Yeah. So knowing that the manufacturer, all their data is secured, is housed securely in secure data centers, and then obviously work with a company that cares for the environment, that takes things seriously, that has like ourselves, German engineering, so we're very reliable. And then obviously we've two people that are actually based in the UK that can interact with resellers and end users if needed, if customers want manufacturer backup.
Yeah, that makes sense. And you touched on kind of Snom's German engineering and the security that powers every device there.
Yeah.
Why is that heritage significant for your partners and their customers?
I think German engineering is quite synonymous with reliability. All our data is housed securely in Germany, and Germany has even stricter data protection laws than the UK. So certified with all the main bodies in Germany for data security. I think that's really, really important. And like I say, the amount of businesses nowadays that are getting hacked and things like that, it's really important to make sure that the security is up to date. We've constantly putting new firmware out there with security fixes when new things come into the fold. Security and reliability is really important. We've got one of the lowest return rates in the industry for our devices, and I think that again, it's synonymous with German engineering.
Yeah, definitely. And a stat like that sometimes just proves exactly what it is that you're saying.
Absolutely.
Definitely. And another area that's kind of growing importance to partners and their customers is sustainability. Yep. What can Snom users expect from you guys kind of in that space?
So obviously we're part of the wider group, we're part of VTech. VTech are very strong on sustainability, and that is filtering down into the Snom products. So we use no plastic packaging anymore. So there's no plastic packaging in any of our stuff. So it's paper packaging that wraps the phones, etc. And we're striving to where we can to use recycled materials in the manufacture of the handsets. So some of the handsets are made from part recycled plastic, etc. And I think we will strive to be 100% recyclable materials in the not so distant future.
Yeah, and I think sometimes just knowing that those are the aspirations can sometimes just be kind of a nice feeling for partners.
Yeah, definitely.
For anyone who's listening, who's interested in working with Snom, what can you tell us about kind of your approach to partner sales support?
Okay, so we have a exclusive partner program, which resellers can register for completely free of charge. As a thank you for registering in that partner program, we give you a free test device for you to have a play with, make sure you're happy with how the Snom devices work. We have 3 levels of partners, so we have registered, we have silver, and we have gold. and you can work your way up that depending on how much equipment you sell or whatever. And there's added benefits and drivers to get you up to those levels, like rebates that come direct from us, and also things like partner events that you get exclusive invites for, some in the UK and sometimes in Berlin at our head office. We've also got 2 people on the ground, as I said earlier, that are happy to assist you in winning opportunities. We're happy to talk to your end users. We're happy to talk to resellers. We're happy to do training. We're happy to do anything that's needed, really. And I think we're nice, friendly people, which helps.
Yeah, it definitely does. And having, like you say, people on the ground who can give you that localized support is always super useful here in the UK.
Yeah, and we've got, between me and Stephen, we've got 40 years of telecoms experience as well. So we're not afraid of getting our hands dirty and going out and seeing end users, because we've done it ourselves for a long time before working for Snom.
Definitely. And that brings us to the end of today's show. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you very much.
As we've heard, desk phones have evolved since the early days of their development, and interest in what these devices can do outside of the office is growing, particularly with the shift towards flexible and hybrid working. If you'd like to discuss this further with Lee and the Snom team, there are some links in the video description to point you in the right direction. But for now, thanks for joining us, and goodbye, everyone.